Hey guys, Renee here, and today we are talking about the flip side of moving to Brunswick. Although Brunswick has some great things about it and would cause you to want to move here, there may be some things you want to consider before you make that big decision. Let's talk about those right now. Hi, I'm Renee Velasquez, and if this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn about everything there is to know about living in Cleveland, Ohio, be sure to tap that like button, hit the subscribe, and click that little bell so that you're notified every time we release a new video. So the first thing is the weather. Cleveland is known for its very harsh winters, and Brunswick is no exception. As a matter of fact, we get below freezing temperatures, tons of snow. Despite the fact that we're not on the lake, we can still get lake effect snow that comes in. So weather plays a big part in travel, commute. You'll have plow trucks, salt trucks, and there's only one main artery in the center of town in Brunswick to get to the highway. So it makes for a lot of congestion. So most people are commuting, and there's gonna be long lines to get on that highway when we have a snowstorm. If you choose to avoid the highway and go through the town streets, you better make sure that you give the plow trucks and the salt trucks enough time to get those streets done before you start your commute, or you're not going to have a safe, clear pathway to get through. So the weather is quite the downfall in our area. The kids love it for snow days, but for your commuters, it's a struggle. The other thing is the job market in Brunswick. So we do have some retail jobs, we do have some restaurant jobs, and yes, there are some companies that operate out of Brunswick. However, more job opportunities are going to be in your larger cities like Cleveland or the Akron-Canton area. So most of the individuals are commuting for their jobs. So Brunswick might be a nice community for some work at home type jobs, but if you're looking for great career opportunities, Brunswick may not necessarily be the right spot for you. So if you're looking for that great job in the city of Brunswick, they're very few and far between, so you might be looking for a while, but I can tell you that if you want to get a job in the schools, that might be the area for you to go, because we are definitely populated with schools. In fact, that leads me to my next point to Brunswick. So we're ranked 13 in the state for population of students. We have 7 elementary schools in Brunswick. We have a brand new built middle school in Brunswick, and we have a high school that teaches over 2,300 students. We also have a private school as well as a satellite college campus in Brunswick, so we are loaded with students. Now, we're very proud to say that we have a 96% graduation rate, which is awesome for the number of students we have, but there are going to be kids everywhere. There's going to be buses everywhere during school time, and in the summertime when the kids are out of school, they're going to be out and about in the community. So very densely populated with students, which means we are no strangers here in Brunswick to school levies. So those we need schools to support that dense population of students. So we have school levies. They want schools to be repaired, rebuilt. So we're no stranger to having to support the sheer number of students that reside in Brunswick. We're also a community that is between 2 more densely populated retail and restaurant communities. So Brunswick is kind of sandwiched between Strongsville and Medina. In Strongsville to the north, we have the mall, we have Costco, you have Home Goods, we have a DSW, we have tons of shopping, tons of restaurant places. We've got fast food chains, mom and pop places, so very densely populated areas for shopping. Then we go to the south and we have Medina. Once again, we have Walmart, Kohl's, Marshall's. We have a ton of mom and pop shops on the Medina Square. So great shopping in either one of these communities, and Brunswick lies kind of right in the middle. So although we do have some shopping, we have a Home Depot, we have several grocery stores, but if you want to wake up and just travel down the street and get everything you need, that's not necessarily going to happen for you in Brunswick. You're going to have to travel outside outside and pay your tax dollars to outside communities because we don't have the level of shopping and restaurant places within Brunswick. Now, that may lend itself to having a little less traffic like Brunswick or like Strongsville and Medina does. But again, we just have that main artery down the center of town, which has your shopping, but it doesn't have your major big box stores that you might be looking for to get your everyday needs covered. So another reason to maybe reconsider moving to Brunswick is that commute. So we are just 30 minutes from downtown Cleveland, so it's great. We're close enough to all of your fun, your attractions, all of your sports teams. You go down and catch a game, a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game, and that's great, but the commute can be less than desirable. So we talked about that weather, right? If we get any kind of weather, rain, sleet, snow, because we only have that main artery running through town, it's already congested. Add weather to the mix, and it is a struggle. You absolutely need to leave early or you're going to be late. Because we have that extreme weather, we often need road repairs. So you're gonna have repair trucks on the road, detour signs, things like that. So, and then add that student population to that mix to add insult to injury. So if you have any kind of weather, you've got a ton of buses on the road, a ton of commuters because of the job opportunities being outside. And most communities, or most people living in Brunswick are dual income households, and both of them are commuting outside of Brunswick to go to work. So you have not one car traveling per family, you have 2 and 3 cars per family traveling outside of Brunswick to get to work. So add the buses to that, add the plow trucks to that, add the road workers to that. The commute is not fun. And again, if you choose to go through the town streets and you can figure out and navigate that so you can avoid the highway, great. But once again, you add snow to the mix and you need to make sure you give those plow trucks time to clear those roadways. And oftentimes, if they shut down some of those major arteries to do road repairs, your detour is through those town streets. And once again, very heavily traveled and not a fun commute for people regularly traveling through Brunswick. So another reason is that it's not really well served in terms of public transportation. So there is some internal public transportation within Brunswick, but as far as public transportation to commute outside of Brunswick, it's not very well served. So you have to pretty much have a car to get to where you're going, or at least have a car to get to a stop outside of the community, to where that can take you then to downtown Cleveland into your job. So you're not having to drive your car all the way to downtown Cleveland for your job, find parking and deal with all that mess, but you're probably gonna have to go to an RTA station, a rapid station, something like that to get that commute into downtown if you're not driving your own vehicle. Things like Ubers and Lyfts, yes, you can get them in Brunswick. It's a little bit more difficult though, because we're not so heavily populated in terms of retail and shopping and business. A lot of the Uber drivers aren't really hanging out in Brunswick waiting to give people rides. So just that massive transit, public transportation piece of it is kind of lacking in Brunswick. So you've got to have a car, and you got to be willing to go through that commute if you're living in Brunswick. Still a great place to live, but those are some of the things you might want to consider. If you already live in Brunswick and want to shout out some things, please feel free to put those things in the comments. If you have more questions about Brunswick, please feel free to ask the questions. And then make sure you like the video, you tap that bell, and you subscribe to the channel so that you're notified every time we shoot a new video. And remember, we are inviting you to a moving experience. We receive several calls a day from people just like you moving to the Cleveland area that want to work with our team. If this is you, we'd love to be the real estate team you choose. Our contact information is in the description down below.